Hello, lovelies. How is everyone doing? Any nice weekend plans? So, uh, I've got my cup of tea. Um, I opted for I think it was I had one last tea bag of something from Fortnum and Mason that I was gifted last year. I think it was, I want to say apricot and lavender or something like that. It's very nice. Yeah, I do like a fancy cup of tea. So yeah, I slept pretty badly last night. And the last two nights before, well, I mean, last night's sleep was much better than the two nights previous. But I think I, because I'd spent two nights in a row falling asleep about 3 a.m., that last night was such a deep sleep that I woke up feeling like really groggy and tired and just really struggled to get out of bed. I don't know if it's hormones or getting old. Not loving it, not loving it. So yeah, so it might be spring outside, but I've I've had better days mood wise. And so I'm still in my pajamas at what is it now? 10:30. So it's been a slow start. I did do some work this morning. Anything I could do on my phone that meant I could still lie in bed, but that was, there's limitations to what you can do. So I spent about an hour doing that, and then I got up and had a bit of breakfast, and yeah, made myself a cup of tea. uh yeah, so that's been my day so far. I am planning today. I baked yesterday some Easter biscuits. They are a household favorite, and they're delicious. The only issue with it is that the pastry is very short, so they taste fantastic, very, very crispy. But you have to be very careful with them because otherwise they break apart very easily, um, which would be fine. But I'm planning to put some kind of pistachio cream in between. I've got a top biscuit and a bottom biscuit. And I'm going to sandwich them together with pistachio cream, which I think will be interesting, an interesting challenge. But it is for my blog, Crumbs of Sanity. There'll be a link to that in the description. And I really wanted to get it out before Easter, so tomorrow on Thursday. So what happens next is going to be basically irrelevant to you because I'll probably get this video out nearer Christmas. um, but I just wanted to film a bit of it because it was, a bit of pottering, slow, hopefully gentle. So I've got the biscuits; they're ready. I made them yesterday, so they're nice and cool. And I've got the pistachio cream. I did not make it myself. I've done that, and I ended up completely butchering my nails because I had to shell the pistachios myself. Not to be recommended. 0 stars for that. I'm just gonna sandwich these biscuits, um, and hopefully it won't take too long. But we will see. An additional downside is that my kitchen has does not get the best light, particularly when, like today, the weather hasn't decided what it wants to do. So it's going to probably be quite a gloomy video. I did try using a ring light previously in the kitchen, but the work surfaces reflect the glare, so there's some sort of shiny varnish on there. So basically, all you get is like a shiny reflection when you film, and that's not ideal either. So yeah, so I'm going to film that in a bit, um and then, the usual work. I have a meeting today again, which I'm really not in the mood for, actually. As much as I like to have a bit of contact with the outside world, given I do everything at home, um not looking forward to that. But yeah, the biscuits I hopefully will go well. Hopefully there won't be too many casualties. And maybe that will set me up for the rest of the day. Anyway, I'm gonna go sort myself out now so I look a bit more presentable for this meeting, and then I will go into the kitchen and sort the biscuits out. Good afternoon, lovelies. At least I think it's the afternoon, just about. So I've made the biscuits, as you would have just seen. I did have a moment when I thought, do I really want to be icing the broken biscuits? But I thought, no bunny left behind. So I did do that, and you probably would have seen that in the video if I managed to upload it all. So I iced all my biscuits, broken and not broken. And that was quite therapeutic. And I actually thought, you know what, why don't I include a bit more in this video? And I am going to go through my top 6 recipe books, because going through them for me is kind of like therapy. It's almost like cooking, but I guess like backseat cooking. I managed to narrow it down to 6, and I thought I would show them to you. Okay, so here they are, all of those. Of course, they're the heavier ones. Where shall we start? Okay, so in my blog, I do refer to this book several times, so why don't we start there? And it is the smallest, Porridge by Annie Cravey. And I got this from my mum. I think it was a Christmas present, and it would have been towards the very beginning of my PhD. And I loved it. I loved it. And actually, I mean, a lot of look how beautiful like the pages are inside. Oh, they have really beautiful ceramics in here. And I did actually go to the website where they supposedly got them from, and of course they're obscenely expensive, and I don't know where they were based. But yeah, she goes through like sweet porridges, savory porridges, toppings, snacks, and I think if I find the right page, she talks about mindfulness a lot as well. And she goes through, for instance, in this page you can see, she goes through like she goes through all the different toppings that that you can add to your porridge. And I loved it because I found it like infinitely adaptable. So I mean, half the things in here I couldn't make because I couldn't afford it or I couldn't source things. I mean, she talks about cloudberries, which I think are Scandinavian. I mean, this is a Scandinavian author, and they only grow in some places. They're not. I don't think you can farm them, so they're kind of wherever you find them, maybe in the mountainous regions. I'm not sure. And they're obscenely expensive. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to get hold of them. But I mean, this was like one of my favorites. Let me just have a look in the viewfinder. This like spiced apple peanut butter and jelly, and she uses chia seeds. She mixes it with like crushed berries, and then it becomes like a kind of jam when you let it set for a bit. She adds peanut butter, and then I think in the actual porridge she adds like grated apple and a bunch of other things. But she totally pimps up porridge to a degree I didn't think possible. I mean, look at that. I'd never made this, but isn't that just beautiful? I mean, she makes like granola that's raw, so like raw nola. She makes ice creams that you can top your porridges with. Beautiful. I loved it. I loved it. Just to read and look at the pictures. So next, I think I also got gifted at the same time with that porridge book, this one called The Whole Food Pantry by Amber Rose. Also like a gorgeous cover. And I mean, it's, you know, what it says on the tin. It's just whole foods. It's learning how to make things from scratch. And some of the pictures in here are just, I mean, the way that everything's done, just beautiful. I mean, this is the kind of life I want to lead, but never will, of course, because it's completely unrealistic. But she makes her own spreads, butters, ghee, bread, of course. I think there are some meat recipes in here, but there's like lots of paste, salt, spice mixes, all that stuff. She even like shows you how to make chocolate and like sweet treats that basically have things in it that are good for your gut, and won't spike your sugar levels. Yeah, I once actually made this. This is a raw chocolate wheel. It actually wasn't that great. I think it's because I love chocolate, and nothing that isn't chocolate will taste as good as chocolate. But it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I loved this, and again, it was mostly for the pictures and the aspiration, thinking that one day I'm gonna be this person. So yeah, so those were the two. I think they're the oldest ones I have in this selection. Then, of course, Nigella. I mean, I love her. I love her. I love her. I love basically all of her books. I only opted for one in this short list because I didn't want anyone getting Nigella fatigue. It can happen, not that I've experienced it yet, but I love this one because she's a very pastel themed book. She has a lot of greens and pinks, which is kind of how I've ended up doing my kitchen and many other aspects of my house. I think really summery spring colours. Also evokes kind of like the garden shed feel, which I quite like. And I mean, she writes. I think the thing about Nigella is that she writes beautifully. She makes you want to eat the food that she's cooking, and her food isn't that exciting a lot of the time. It's like very simple stuff. A lot of stuff is pantry based. Yeah, it's not like I wouldn't, if I was to, host a party, I wouldn't think, oh, this thing Nigella made will be amazing. But what she does do really well is cook food that is easy to make, it's quick, it's easy to kind of include in your week. Unlike some of these other recipe books where you really have to pre-plan. I mean, you can tell she's a mum, basically. She's a mum of two, and she doesn't take herself too seriously as much as she is, posh and can be a bit ridiculous sometimes and very kitsch. She doesn't take herself too seriously if you really read her, and a lot of her things are just, they're easy. They're easy to get hold of, and I loved it. I haven't cooked a lot of the things in here because it's just not my thing, and sometimes it's just too simple. But she did a really great cauliflower Thai green curry in here. Beautiful. I've made it several times, and she also made this absolutely fantastic, hang on, toasty olive oil granola, which I will constantly keep a stash of at home. I will bake a batch as soon as we're out because it's just, I don't know, it's the salty sweet thing. I mean, God knows if it's healthy for you, but It's bloody brilliant. So Nigella, always my favorite. Where should we go next? Okay, I have some slightly newer ones. B Wilson. B Wilson. She is new on my radar, even though she's not new to, the world. I believe she won MasterChef like decades ago, and now she's a food educator. She's got some kind of award for her services. I've totally forgotten what it's called. This book there are recipes. There are a lot of recipes in this book, but she is basically teaching you how to cook, and not in a patronizing way, just in the sense of really explaining to you what chefs use in the kitchen that they don't explain in recipe books and make their lives a lot easier. She talks about what tools you should be thinking of investing in, and her mantra seems to be, it's whatever you will use. Even if you spend something obscene on a really great knife, if you never use it, what's the point of it? She also talks about how to teach yourself to cook things. I think she talks about basically learn to cook with a carrot, and then you're kind of good to go for simple things. And she talks about how to feed children, how to get them to be interested in food, how to enjoy that. And I mean, there are many other things. I mean, she devotes whole chapters to certain tools that she thinks really makes a difference. And I mean, it's a Bible, but it really is a Bible, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just, I mean, the stuff in here was invaluable to me, and she did a really great, and I don't think I'll find it now, a laksa recipe, which is like a yellow curry sauce, which I make with like noodles and tofu and prawns and like some green veg and stuff, and it's just amazing. Right, we've got two left. I feel like I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. Got two left. What should we go with? Okay, so let's go with this one. I bought myself this last summer, I believe. I think it was around my birthday, which is in September, by the way. Wild figs and fennel, and it's just, I mean, you can see the colours with the gold. I mean, it's just, and she's got the pink and green theme, which I love. And just again, like the images, like with the green. And I don't really know this writer, Tisha Clark. I don't really know this writer. She has written some other books. I believe one of them is For Love and Lemons. And she does mostly Sardinian cooking because I think she lives in Sardinia. She's not Sardinian, but she's married to a Sardinian. She really deep dives with Sardinian food as much as I can see. Not that I'm an expert. I mean, she goes through, she does she uses a lot of these wild figs and fennel. And the problem with this book is, as much as I love it, and some of these, she goes through every season and how to use what's available at Sardinia at the time. And as much as I love, I mean, she does this amazing cake as well. As much as I love this book, most of the ingredients I just can't get hold of. And she uses wild figs and wild fennel a lot. And I have no idea where to get these. So I've not used this a lot, but it's one of those things that is so pretty that I just like want to have it on my bookshelf. So lastly, before I bore you too much, I mean, you can see this has already got my attempt at bookmarking the pages, because I ran out of proper Post-its that do that. So I just had to rip the big ones up. I bought this for myself again at Christmas. It's Skye McAlpine, love her, The Christmas Companion. And I bought this book because they had an offer that meant that they sent you an advent calendar code to go with it from the same illustrator as the woman who illustrated this book. I mean, the advent calendar was okay. It was kind of just the same repeated images over and over again. And behind each door, it just said, oh, make this from chapter blah, blah, or page blah, blah, or remember to prep this from page blah, blah. And I don't know. I mean, it was a free advent calendar. I mean, whatever. But at the same time, she was actually doing an event somewhere in London. I've forgotten what it's called, but like the posh part of London, she had a pop-up shop where she was doing some workshops, and she was selling some of her, she does a lot of Venetian wares as well. And I kid you not, I desperately wanted to go. I was going through a bit of a bad patch, so I thought, oh, this is going to solve my problems if I go and prove I'm a better person because I'm doing a workshop on how to, I don't know, decorate a tree or make a stocking or something. And I was looking at the flights and I thought, oh, maybe I could just go to London for the day. I live in Berlin, by the way. And then I thought, I really don't want to go on my own. I want to go with someone else because otherwise it's just kind of a bit boring. And I'll just probably be starstruck because I find, celebrity cookery writers like amazing. And no one could come with me, so I didn't go, and all the workshops were booked up. But I loved it. It's a Christmas, of course, it's a Christmas recipe book, and she talks all about how to decorate tables, how to do stockings and advent calendars and prep meal plans and all the things that happen around Christmas. I mean, again, the images are fantastic. Clearly she lives in a really posh house, or she staged all of this in a very posh house, and those kind of copper jelly molds are on the wall and all that stuff. I love it. I mean, this is kind of like the vibe you've got. Completely unrealistic. I loved this. I mean, she writes like she has the posh life, I have to say. She does write in a kind of slightly ridiculous, self-indulgent fashion, but it's Christmas and that's what it's there for. So, in my opinion, so sod it. Like, why? Like, fine, fair enough. Why wouldn't you? And yeah, I mean, the stuff in here is really great. Some of it's a bit much, though. I mean, there was one recipe, and I don't know if I can find it, which is basically I think you cook a pear or pop. I don't know if you parboil it or not, but you stuff it or something, and then you put it in short crust pastry and you bake it, and then you kind of make it look like this ornate Victorian kind of baked fruit thing. And it looked great, but realistically, I'm probably not going to do that at Christmas. It's just, yeah, it's a bit much. Although her eggnog is just, I mean, you will not remember the night after about 3 of these, but it's amazing. So yeah, I loved it at Christmas. I loved it. It was just totally took me out of where, my life, my home, and just, I was pretending I was one of these like posh ladies in a posh home, and I got to make all this stuff, and it was lovely. It was lovely. But I definitely think she might want to reconsider it, or her audience sometimes, because she was talking about decorating tables to make it look festive. And, she's talking about, throw some like, gold wrapper sweets, or like marron glacé or something like that. And these are all things that once you really factor in the cost, you may as well just like that's like Christmas gifts for people, or like I'll pay for a stocking for somebody. I mean, it's intense, but it's aspirational living. So yeah, why not? So those are my 6 favorites at the moment. I love them. They look so beautiful on my desk. I don't go through them all the time because I'm a bit lazy when it comes to cooking, kind of 50% of my week, maybe more. But yeah, I thought I'd go through those with you. And then I will leave it there because I think that's enough for this video. There is a new makeup palette I just got off Vinted, but it was new. It was new, and it is actually seasonal still, which is new for me. And I'm really tempted to try it out, but it's like a palette that is not easy to use. It's a bit daring. It's quite Barbie, but I thought maybe the next video I can try that and then have you along with me to see how it goes. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Otherwise, obviously, would love subscribers, would love comments. Please check out my blog, crumbsofsanity.com, where hopefully it'll be a supportive, nice environment for you if you're struggling with academia at any stage and want to feel a little less alone. So otherwise, I will leave you lovelies, and I hope you have a lovely next few days, next few weeks, and that you hang in there if things are particularly tough at the moment.